everybody.
Hi.
Are you ready to hear the end of our story? Natalie said she'd be in the video with me if she gets to hold the dog. So,
Well, of course I'll be in that.
I don't like being in all by myself. So, come on over. Come on over, come on over. So, here we are. It is chapters 10 and 11, and those are the last two chapters of The Courage of Sarah Noble. How is everybody? Bryn and Callie and Carter and Morgan and Silas. How are you all? What day is this? This is day 4, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're day 4 of our coronavirus shutdown. Yes, tomorrow will be day 5. Are you doing anything different, or does it seem kind of normal so far? I think for us it's seeming a little bit normal because we're home a lot anyway. Guess we're not doing school, but we're kind of home a lot anyway. Our church had church last Sunday, and we're not doing church anymore. They are going to live stream. How about your churches? What are you guys going to do? No more meetings? Because no, we canceled all of our church meetings now. So, yes, but so far, since we don't go very many places other than school and church anyway, it doesn't feel totally different yet, but it probably will start seeming really weird because all of a sudden it'll be a long time since we've gone back to school or church.
Yeah, but the church is gonna be we won't be going to church only for like 3 weeks, but usually after that we have like a refreshing time where everybody talks to everyone, but that's not gonna happen now. It's
No
like
food.
all over.
Natalie's very sad about no more food at church even when we do go back to church.
No donuts.
No donuts, no food, no sharing. All right, well, here we go to see how it ends. Sarah goes home. So remember, she just said goodbye to Tall John. They just walked home because her mother was there, and Tall John left. Over the river they went, with Sarah riding on Tall John's shoulder. Only once she looked back at the Indian house. They had been kind to her, and now she was going home. Wait a minute, I'm getting confused. Didn't I read this part?
Yes, you did.
Oh, but we got interrupted, right? Something happened.
Oh yeah, Dad called again. My dad called 2 times, and my brother was annoying.
Yeah, we keep having a lot of trouble with this.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that Mrs. Aspenberg is doing much better with her videos.
I guess she is.
Thanks.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot, Nat.
All right, so that's why it sounds familiar to me. We already started it. All right, sorry, one more time. Over the river they went, with Sarah riding on Tall John's shoulder. Once, and only once, she looked back at the Indian house. They had been kind to her. And now she was going home. The words sounded so fine that she said them over and over to herself as Tall John waded carefully through the water. Going home. Going home. Going home. Would her mother know her? Tall and sun-brown now? Would baby Mabel know her? Had Mabel grown? Was she stronger? She had been such a fretful, sickly baby. Now they were going up the hill, and the brown log house was in sight. And there was somebody standing in the doorway. It was someone in a blue dress. Yes, it was her mother. It really and truly was Sarah's mother. And yes, she was holding the baby in her arms. And beside her were Stephen and Mary and Hannah and little Margaret. Sarah almost jumped from Tall John's shoulder. Easy now, Sarah, her father said. You will be there soon enough. Hurry, Tall John, hurry. Take longer steps. Hurry. Tall John, my mother is waiting. Tall John, feeling the quivers of excitement that raced through Sarah's body, set her down. You, go now, he said, my daughter. And then he turned and he went back toward his own house.
Is he mad at her?
No, he's sad, I think. And Sarah walked swiftly and softly to her home. Her mother had put the baby on the ground, and wonder of wonders, Mabel was taking a few unsteady steps, holding her mother's hands. Sarah knelt and held out her arms, and the baby came into her arms. Sarah could feel that little body, firm and strong. If the baby had taken the long journey earlier, it might not have been strong like this. Now Sarah's mother held them both close to her. Sarah, Sarah, how you've grown, child. Oh, and how brown you are. And in the same breath she said, what are those outlandish things that you're wearing on your feet? What were they? They were the moccasins, weren't they? Now Sarah knew she was home. It was a day of happiness and the work for the family. There were goods to be unpacked and places to be found for them. Thomas had brought Sarah's own little stool. She carried it at once to the fireplace. Mother, she said, almost afraid to ask the next question, did you bring Arabella? Or was there no room for her? She is here, her mother said. We could not leave her behind, though to be sure, I thought you might have outgrown her, and she might be for Margaret. Arabella is my child, said Sarah, and I have not outgrown her.
Wait, how is...
There's one of the pictures. I don't know how well you can see those pictures.
I can see them very well.
Well, that's because you're right next to me.
Right.
All right, and I think this is our last chapter, chapter 11. Night in the log house. In the evening, when Baby and Margaret were asleep, Sarah and her mother and father and the older children sat by the fire. It was warm and cozy in the little house. I cannot think, Sarah's mother said, how your father could leave you alone with those savages. I had words with him when he came. But they are not savages, Sarah said. They are our friends. And Tall John's wife, she takes good care of her children. Indeed, said John Noble, that is true. And when I came back, I found Sarah as clean and well-dressed as when I left her. Tall John's wife is almost as careful as you, Mary. Sarah's mother did not believe a word of it. That she would have to see for herself, if she could even bring herself to look into one of those queer little wigwams. No Indian mother could be as good of a mother as she was, and certainly not as good of a housekeeper. I must put Arabella to bed now, said Sarah, and they could hear her talking to her doll. Do not be afraid, Arabella, she said. It is safe here. These Indians are our friends. They're not savages, and they will tell us if the Indians from the north are coming. Sleep well, my dear. Keep up your courage. Keep it up, Arabella. Keep up your courage. Sarah's father smiled at her mother. It is good, he said, to see that Sarah is a little girl again. She has had in these months to be too much of a woman. Sarah, hearing, came back. I am not a little girl now, she said, stretching to her full height. See, I am tall and almost 9 years old, nearly a woman. And so you are, her mother told her. And when I am a grown woman, Sarah said, I shall be a mother, and I will have 12 children. And maybe, she added, maybe I will be a school teacher. I taught the Indian children. That one was a good picture to see. I bet you could see that one because it's big. We shall see, her mother said. But if you are to be a teacher, you will have to start again with your reading and writing. And Sarah, now it is time for bed. There had been nights when Sarah had not liked to hear the words, time for bed. But now she loved the sound of her mother's voice saying those words. That night, Sarah slept warm under her quilts. On a peg nearby hung her cloak, and she did not need it. She had kept her courage, and it was something that would always be with her. Always, even when the cloak was all worn out. Tonight, the pictures in her mind were comfortable ones of home and family and fireside and a door securely fastened. The light from the fire made pleasant patterns in the darkness, and Sarah lay quietly, and the wind in the trees sang her to sleep.
What a nice story.
It was a good story.
Although I didn't hear all of it. I only heard.
It's too bad that her mommy thinks the Indians are savages. Isn't that too bad? And you know what I want to tell you in this time that we're going through here with this coronavirus? When Sarah had to be alone, away from her mommy, and even away from her daddy for part of the time, we have a family at our school that's kind of going through that. A family in our school went away across the ocean to a vacation, and the kids came back home, and the mom stayed over across the ocean for a little while, and she thought she was going to come back, but then the coronavirus got pretty bad in that country they were visiting, and so mom is stuck over across the ocean, and the kids are here with dad. Wouldn't that be hard? Especially right now when everything feels really weird. So anyway, we should be praying for that family in our school who is split up because the mom can't get a flight back. She was going to fly back, and when everything got bad, they canceled all the airplanes. So mom can't get back, and maybe not until May. She was going to come back about a week ago. So pray for that family that's kind of in that same situation that Sarah was in, being away from her mommy, being away from her daddy when her dad went to go get them all. So that's a good thing for us to keep in mind. All right. Well, I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you're washing your hands a whole bunch. And are you washing your hands, Natalie?
Yes, Mommy.
I have to remind her. Does your mom have to remind you? And you know that you're supposed to wash them for a long time? Actually, do you want to know what? Before we hang up, I'm going to sing the song that we used to teach our kids in a different school that I taught in, and then I teach the kindergartners. And maybe I even taught some of you when I did your class when you were kindergarten. Do you know, wait a minute, it goes to row, row, row your boat. How's it go? Scrub, scrub, scrub your hands, wash them nice and clean. Wash the backs and in the cracks until they're squeaky clean. And then you have to do it again because it's got to be 20 seconds. Scrub, scrub, scrub your hands, wash them nice and clean. Wash the backs and in the cracks until they're squeaky clean. All right, I'm going to show you one more dog trick. All right, since the dog is barking, it reminded me. I'm going to show you a dog trick. Sorry, I'm getting distracted from history because we don't usually get to do these things. But watch the funny thing my dog does. Okay, ready? Come here. Come here. We're going to sing. He howls when I yodel. When I was a little girl, my daddy would call me by whistling. And he would whistle, but I can't whistle. So I call my kids by yodeling, the same kind of sound that my dad used to make. But when I do it, the dog howls. Are you ready? You going to do it for them? Come here. Come on. Do it. They want to hear you sing. Isn't that funny? That was really good. Good job, buddy. All right. Bye-bye, you guys. Have a good day.
Bye.